Okay, well, I was gonna review Raw, but I thought I would just kind of. Jericho versus Punk was awesome. Watch that. Daniel Bryan versus Rey Mysterio was good, and everything else was very, very forgettable. Now, Bruno Sammartino is now part of the Hall of Fame, and I think this is probably one of the biggest news stories to come out of Raw because this is a man who's gone on record countless times saying he wants nothing to do with the WWE, nothing to do with the Hall of Fame, and nothing, more importantly, nothing to do with Vince McMahon Jr. Now, him and Vince Sr. were very, very good friends, and I think the whole, um, Vince Sr. promised, he went and he shook everyone's hand. You've heard the story millions of times from countless number of people that Vince Sr. promised that his son would not, fool around when it comes to business. He would not go and take other guys and try putting other people out of business, and that's what Vince Jr. did. Vince McMahon, as we know, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, that was his big mastermind plan to take wrestling global, and um, it cost a lot of people a lot of jobs, and all the territories were all cut down, and it was all only Mr. McMahon's WWF that was left standing. Now, for a lot of people, it's a bitter pill to swallow, and Bruno Sammartino is one of those guys who, um, him and Vince Senior, Vince's dad, were I would assume, and it seems like they were very very close, and I guess the whole betrayal kind of stuck by Sammartino for all these years, and the fact that he's been asked numerous amount of times to be in the Hall of Fame because deep down he doesn't need it. He knows he doesn't need it. He is in Hall of Fames that just surpass any other sort of Hall of Fame that the WWE has to offer. Um, for example, the National Italian Hall of Fame of Sports. Bruno Sammartino is part of that. You can't just, that's like a prestigious thing to be in, and he is in that. So, and in all honesty, what is the WWE Hall of Fame? Is it really that much of a recognizable achievement where you got guys like Iron Sheik who Billy Graham and there's someone else I'm forgetting, but they sell their ring or they sell something. It's nothing really that big of a deal. Sure, you have your one night, you have the payday, you get the plaque, you get the ring, but what else is it really what else does it really do for you? Guys like Jimmy Snuka have been in the Hall of Fame for whatever how many years, and they're doing WrestleCon events here and there. It's not like you're in the Hall of Fame and that's it. You're set for life. It's kind of a way for Vince McMahon to make money off you one more time. It's a way for Vince to really kind of own you one more time. And Bruno never wanted to bring himself down to that level. And I think it took a lot of negotiating because even when I met him, the first thing I asked him, I'm like, I'm sure you get this all the time, but for the fans who really, and I told him, I'm like, I don't know much about your career, but I know there are a bunch of it. Like, there were so many adults I was talking to at that event, and RKO, the infamous NWO, Jade were with me. My parents, like everyone, knows Bruno Sammartino in one way or another. Whether you're a fan of him, whether you've seen his matches or not, you know who he is and you know his legacy in wrestling. For those people, just like the Ultimate Warrior, just like Randy Savage, for the fans, they want to see it just so they can like say thank you. It's put all personal feelings aside, whatever that may be. And he just simply said he wants nothing to do with Vince. He wants nothing to do with WWE. His life is perfectly fine. He doesn't need a payday. And to be quite honest, he doesn't really care for it. And that was the answer I was expecting. I'm sure he's not gonna go on and start shooting. This is what I hate about Vince. This is what I hate about this. But he simply just said it. Just like the way I told you. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want anything to do with that. And end of story. My life is fine. That's his exact quote. My life, I'm very happy where I'm doing right now, and I don't need the WWE. And with WrestleMania being in New York, I'm sure it sparked a whole lot of interest to have Bruno back there for the Hall of Fame, but this time send Triple H to do the negotiating. And according to many sources, that the Triple H would go to Bruno's house, kind of sit down with him, and Bruno is quite fond of Triple H. He respects him as a person, athlete, whatever. Bruno and Triple H are on the same page, but Vince and Bruno are not. And I think having Bruno in the Hall of Fame is really something Vince always wants, just for the fact that he can say that he has Bruno, he has that name checked off his list. But Bruno doesn't want to give in, but he finally did. And it's great to see. I'm not gonna come on here and say I'm the biggest Bruno Sammartino fan. I met him. He's a good guy. I respect his legacy and what he's done for wrestling. Paved the way for guys like Hogan and Austin and Punk and Cena and whatever. Like, he is like the foundation of what wrestling is today, and you can't deny that. And I think King said it best. Like, this is one of the most deserving inductees ever, and I couldn't agree with him any like more. So I'm gonna be there. Should be a hoot, and congratulations to Bruno Sammartino.